The stars burned bright against the endless void as the massive Xeraxian royal vessel approached Earth orbit. Commander Kate Miller stood at attention as the alien delegation filed into the conference room. Her pulse quickened when she spotted Princess Vexalia among them. The princess stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with its own light. Her eyes were large, almond-shaped, and entirely silver without visible pupils. Long tendrils that resembled hair but moved with a life of their own framed her regal face. Kate had never seen anything so beautiful or terrifying. Admiral Zorvan, the princess' father, regarded the humans with thinly veiled contempt. The Xeraxians had conquered 17-star systems before encountering humanity. Earth had somehow managed to fight them to a standstill, forcing this uneasy diplomatic summit. Kate knew the tensions remained high. A single wrong move could restart the war that had claimed millions of lives. Kate escorted the royal party to their quarters. She noticed several of the Xeraxian officers whispering and casting glances her way. Their translator chips were offline, which was suspicious. Later that evening, as Kate prepared for bed, her door chimed. "Enter," she called. The door slid open, revealing Princess Vexalia herself, Commander Miller. The princess said, her voice melodious yet alien. "I require sanctuary." Kate blinked in confusion. "Your Highness, my father officers have made a decision they find amusing." Vexalia tendrils writhed with what Kate recognized as agitation. "They have given me to you?" "Given you." Kate repeated, "I do not understand. In our culture, when we wish to humiliate a rival, we present them with a royal who must serve them." Vexalia explained, "They believe giving me to a human, especially a female one, is the ultimate insult to my lineage. They have registered this gift in our diplomatic records." Kate felt her face flush with anger. "That barbaric." "Your Highness, you not property." Vexalia tilted her head. "Your reaction is fascinating. Most species would see this as an opportunity for political advantage. You see it as moral outrage. That is why humanity has survived against us." Kate paced her small quarters. "We need to speak with Admiral Bailey. Get this reversed." "It cannot be reversed," Vexalia said. "And I do not wish it to be." Kate stopped pacing. "What my father planned to marry me to General Kraz, a brutal warrior who has slaughtered billions." Vexalia's silver eyes seemed to darken. "This prank, as you might call it, has given me an unexpected opportunity for freedom." Kate sat heavily on her bed. "So you want to stay with me?" "Yes," the princess said simply. "I have studied human culture. I find it fascinating, especially your concept of free choice. I wish to experience this." The next morning, Kate took Vexalia to see Admiral Bailey. The human commander listened to their explanation with growing concern. "This is unprecedented," she said, running a hand through her short gray hair. "The diplomatic implications. Alone I understand, Admiral, but I cannot in good conscience treat Princess Vexalia as property." Kate argued. "The princess wishes to stay of her own free will." Admiral Bailey studied the alien royal. "Is this true?" "Your Highness." Vexalia stood tall, her tendrils perfectly still in the formal posture of her people. "It is. By your human laws, I claim asylum." The Admiral sighed. "This will complicate the peace talks." "Perhaps," Kate said. "Or perhaps it will help the Xeraxians see us differently." It was decided that Vexalia would remain with Kate while the diplomats worked through the implications. The Xeraxian officers who had orchestrated the prank were furious. Their attempt to humiliate both the princess and humans had backfired. Spectacularly, Admiral Zorvan demanded his daughter return, but Earth officials cited asylum laws. The standoff threatened to derail the peace talks. "I never meant to cause such trouble," Vexalia said one evening, as she and Kate shared a meal in the base cafeteria. Kate smiled. "You must have known your father would not take this well." Vexalia tendrils curled in what Kate had come to recognize as amusement. "He has always underestimated other species. It is his greatest weakness. And mine was thinking I had no choice but to follow our traditions." Kate was assigned quarters off the military base, a small apartment in the nearby city. Vexalia moved in with her. The sight of a 7-foot blue alien shopping for groceries caused quite a stir at first, but the locals gradually grew accustomed to her presence. Vexalia was fascinated by everything Earth: cooking, television, music, art. She absorbed human culture like a sponge, asking endless questions. Kate found herself seeing her own world through new eyes. One day, as they walked through a park, Vexalia stopped to watch a human couple playing with their young child. The family was laughing, the parents swinging the giggling toddler between them. "What are they doing?" Vexalia asked. "Just playing," Kate said. Having fun together. Vexalia watched silently for a long moment. In my culture, children are raised by designated caretakers. The royal family especially sees their offspring only for formal occasions. That sounds lonely, Kate said. It was, Vexalia admitted. I did not know what I was missing. Weeks passed, and the peace negotiations continued in fits and starts. Kate returned to active duty, though she was no longer assigned to the diplomatic team. Her superiors worried her connection to Vexalia might complicate matters. Vexalia, meanwhile, began studying at the local university, taking classes in human history, literature, and art. She attracted attention, but most humans were respectful. Some even became friends. Kate worried constantly about Vexalia. Safety, Earth had its share of xenophobes. But the princess proved remarkably resilient. She handled hostile encounters with dignity that often left her would-be harassers ashamed. Kate found herself growing increasingly protective of Vexalia. She had never expected to care so deeply for the alien, Hayal, but something about her courage and curiosity touched Kate's heart one night, as they sat on the balcony of their apartment watching the stars. Vexalia asked Kate a question that caught her off guard. Do humans always choose their mates for love, Kate? Nearly choked on her wine. Not always, she said. Some marry for money or convenience or family expectations. But love is the ideal, I guess. And how do humans know when they love someone? Kate thought carefully before answering. It's different for everyone. I think sometimes it hits you all at once. Sometimes it grows slowly. You just know you want that person in your life, that being with them makes you happier than being without them. Vexalia was silent for a long time, her silver eyes reflecting the starlight. I think I am beginning to understand, she said finally. A month later, Admiral Zorvan announced he was returning to Earth for another round of peace talks. He requested a meeting with his daughter. Kate worried it was a trap. You do not have to see him, she told Vexalia. The princess stood by the window, her tall form silhouetted against the city lights. He is still my father, she said. And a meeting on Earth under human protection presents little risk. But Kate knew there was more at stake than physical safety. The Admiral had a powerful hold over his daughter. Vexalia had been raised to respect and obey him. Kate feared what such a meeting might do to the independence Vexalia had fought so hard to gain. I will go with you, Kate offered. Vexalia turned, her silver eyes shining with emotion. I would appreciate that, Kate Miller. You have become important to me in ways I did not anticipate. Kate felt a strange flutter in her chest. Something was changing between them. Something neither human nor Zyraxian protocols had prepared them for. The meeting with Admiral Zorvan took place at the United Earth Diplomatic Center. Kate stood protectively beside Vexalia as the Admiral entered the room. His massive frame seemed to fill the space, his silver eyes cold and calculating. Daughter, he said in the Zyraxian language, ignoring the human translators, you have brought shame to our bloodline. Vexalia stood tall, her tendrils perfectly still. We will speak in English. Father, out of respect for our hosts. The Admiral switched languages reluctantly. You have been contaminated by these creatures. Their weakness has infected you. I have been enlightened. Kate saw Vexalia's hands tremble slightly, but her voice remained steady. I have learned there are different kinds of strength. Admiral Zorvan looked at Kate with undisguised disgust, and this human. This is who you choose to serve. I serve no one, Vexalia said. Kate is my friend. A concept our people have forgotten in our quest for domination. The Admiral slammed his fist on the table, making the human guards reach for their weapons. You are Zyraxian royalty, the next ruler of the Empire. You cannot throw away millennia of tradition for these primitives. Kate stepped forward. Admiral, with all due respect, Your daughter has made her choice. She has legal protection here as a political refugee. Zorvan towered over Kate. This is not over, Commander. The meeting ended shortly after that. Vexalia was quiet as they returned to their apartment. Are you okay? Kate asked. My father will never understand. Vexalia said, he has lived too long in the old ways, but I am certain now that I have made the right choice. Over the next few months, Vexalia immersed herself further in human culture. She began volunteering at a children's center teaching the young humans about Xeraxian science and culture. The children were fascinated by her, especially her moving tendrils, which she used to create beautiful patterns in the air. Kate's career continued, though her connection to Vexalia made some of her superior officers nervous. She was transferred from diplomatic security to training new recruits. The work was less prestigious, but it gave her more regular hours, allowing her to spend more time with Vexalia. Their friendship deepened. Kate taught Vexalia to cook, to dance, to appreciate earth music. Vexalia in turn shared stories of distant worlds, teaching Kate words in her complex language, showing her the elegant mathematical poetry that was the foundation of Xeraxian art. One evening they attended a science conference where a brilliant human geneticist named Alan Reyes was presenting his work on cross-species DNA compatibility. His research focused on finding common biological threads between Earth life and alien species. Vexalia was captivated. He understands, she whispered to Kate. The patterns, the connections. After the presentation, Vexalia approached the scientist. Kate watched as they fell into an intense discussion, their hands moving animatedly as they exchanged ideas. Even from across the room, she could see the intellectual spark between them. Over the following weeks, Vexalia and Alan met frequently, discussing his research. Kate tried to be supportive but found herself inexplicably irritated by the scientist's presence. Something about his easy rapport with Vexalia bothered her. You seem troubled, Vexalia said one night as they sat in their living room, Kate staring blankly at a book she had been trying to read for an hour. I am fine, Kate said too quickly. Just tired, Vexalia. Tendrils reached out gently, touching Kate's arm. The sensation was warm and tingling. Kate had grown used to these alien gestures of affection. You are not being truthful. Kate sighed. How could she explain feelings she did not understand herself, I guess? I got used to our time together. And now with Alan understanding dawned in Vexalia's silver eyes. You fear I am replacing you, it's silly, I know. No, Vexalia moved closer, her scent like cinnamon and ozone. In my culture, bonds between individuals are as important as any other relationship. You have become my chosen family. Kate, that will never change. The relief Kate felt was immediate and powerful. She had not realized how much she had come to depend on Vexalia's presence in her life. 2 days later, Vexalia made an announcement that shook Kate to her core. I wish to become a mother, she stated. Kate stared at her. What I have been speaking with Alan about Xeraxian and human genetic compatibility, Vexalia continued excitedly. His research suggests it may be possible. Kate tried to process this information. But why? In my culture, reproduction is arranged for political advantage, Vexalia explained. But humans choose to create life out of love. That concept fascinates me. I wish to experience it. But with Alan, Kate could not keep the edge from her voice. Vexalia tilted her head, studying Kate. He is a suitable genetic donor. His intelligence, his compassion, his understanding of both our species makes him an ideal candidate. Do you object to him? Kate struggled to sort through her confused emotions. I think this is a huge decision, Vex. What would your father say? He would be outraged. Vexalia tendrils curled in amusement, which makes the idea all the more appealing. But more importantly, I have come to value human ideals. The child would be a bridge between our worlds. The possibility of a half-human, half-Xeraxian child was unprecedented. The scientific community was divided, some excited by the possibilities, others warning of unknown genetic complications. The diplomatic corps was equally conflicted. A royal Xeraxian hybrid could either strengthen the fragile peace or shatter it completely. Alan was cautiously optimistic. The genetic work is sound, he told them. The Xeraxian adaptability gene makes this possible. Their DNA can reconfigure to match compatible species. It just never occurred to anyone that humans might be compatible. Kate remained uncertain. Her protective instincts toward Vexalia warred with her desire to support her friend, Happiness. What if something goes wrong? She asked Alan one day when Vexalia was not present. What if the pregnancy is dangerous? The scientist looked troubled. I cannot promise there will be no complications, Commander. This has never been done before. But I can promise. We will take every precaution. Do you love her? The question slipped out before Kate could stop it. Alan looked surprised, then thoughtful. I admire her greatly. Her intelligence, her courage, her unique perspective. He smiled. She is unlike anyone I have ever met, human or otherwise. I do not know if what I feel is love yet, but I believe it could become that given time. It was not the answer Kate had expected. The honesty of it disarmed her. Vexalia approached Kate that evening. Kate, I value your opinion more than anyone, she said. Do you think I should not do this? Kate took her friend's blue hands in her own, feeling the strange, smooth texture of her skin. I think you should follow your heart. Vex, I will support whatever decision you make. The procedure took place a month later, combining genetic material from both Alan and Vexalia. The Xeraxian process was different from human conception. The combined genetic material would grow within Vexalia's body, but the pregnancy would develop more slowly, allowing her body to adapt. As they left the medical facility that day, Vexalia took both Kate and Alan's hands, their strange trio drawing curious looks from passers-by. I am grateful to you both, she said. Whatever happens, we are creating something new. Something that has never existed before. News of the pregnancy leaked despite their attempts at privacy. Earth media exploded with speculation. Some celebrated the development as a new chapter in human-alien relations. Others condemned it as unnatural, extremist. Groups on both sides made threats. Kate increased security around their apartment. Alan moved in temporarily to monitor Vexalia's health. The three of them formed an unusual household, Kate and Alan circling each other, cautiously united in their concern. For Vexalia, Admiral Zorvan sent a terse message. If you continue with this abomination, you are no longer my daughter. Vexalia read the message. Her face impassive, only the agitated movement of her tendrils betraying her emotion. I expected nothing, less, she said. I have chosen a different path. Kate watched her friend place a hand over her still flat abdomen, where a new life was beginning to form, a life that might change everything. The first signs of Vexalia's pregnancy appeared in subtle ways. Her iridescent blue skin developed a slight pearlescent sheen. Her tendrils moved more languidly and seemed to glow faintly in the dark. Kate often woke to find the apartment bathed in their soft light. Alan monitored the changes with scientific fascination and personal wonder. The hybrid embryo was developing at a pace somewhere between human and Xeraxian gestation periods. His scans showed a healthy fetus with characteristics of both species. Kate found herself falling into the role of protector. Her military training made her hyper-aware of potential threats. Extremist groups on both sides had made their opposition known. Human purists left threatening messages. Xeraxian loyalists sent formal condemnations. One morning, Kate found Vexalia standing by the window watching the sunrise. Her hand rested on her slightly rounded abdomen. She looked ethereal in the golden light, almost like a figure from a Renaissance painting. Trouble, sleeping? Kate asked softly. Vexalia turned with a smile. The child dreams, and I dream with it. What does it dream about? Stars, Vexalia said. Ocean depths. Colors we have no names for. It is both our species and neither. She looked down at her belly with wonder. The universe creating something new. Kate felt a lump in her throat. There was something profoundly moving about Vexalia's connection to the life growing inside her. That afternoon, they had a scheduled checkup at the specialized medical facility that had been set up for the unprecedented pregnancy. Kate drove, while Alan sat in the back, reviewing data on his tablet. A group of protesters had gathered outside the hospital. Their signs bore hateful slogans about species purity and unnatural abominations. Kate's protective instincts flared as she guided Vexalia through the crowd. Security personnel formed a barrier, but the angry shouts still reached them. Vexalia remained composed, her face a mask of dignity. She had faced worse on diplomatic missions to hostile worlds. But Kate could feel the tension in her arm, could sense the way her tendrils flattened against her head in distress. Inside the medical facility, Dr. Maya Patel greeted them warmly. The human doctor had been working alongside Ziraxian medical experts to monitor the pregnancy. She had a calming presence that put everyone at ease. Everything looks good, she told them after the examination. The fetus is developing normally, though we are seeing some interesting adaptations. The skeletal structure seems to be taking more from the Ziraxian side, while the circulatory system appears more human. Alan studied the scans with professional interest. Fascinating, he murmured. The genetic recombination is more elegant than I anticipated. Vexalia, tendrils curled with pleasure. She could feel the child biological systems forming, could sense its growing awareness in a way the human doctors could not. With her species' empathic abilities, she could already touch the developing mind, feel its curiosity, its contentment as they left the medical center. A reporter approached them. Kate stepped protectively in front of Vexalia, but the princess gently moved her aside. Princess Vexalia, the reporter said, what would you say to those who claim this pregnancy is an affront to both our species? Vexalia regarded the woman calmly. Throughout the universe, life finds ways to adapt and combine. New stars form from the dust of dead ones. Species evolve and change. What greater testament to life, strength, than its ability to create new forms, new possibilities? She placed a hand on her stomach. My child represents hope, not fear. The courage to imagine something beyond our limited perspectives. The interview went viral. Vexalia's eloquent words touched many hearts. Public opinion began to shift. The hateful voices did not disappear, but they were increasingly drowned out by those who saw beauty in the unusual family. Kate found herself drawn deeper into Vexalia and Alan world. Their apartment had become a strange hybrid space, much like the child they were expecting. Human furniture sized for Vexalia, tall frames, Ziraxian art, alongside Earth photographs, scientific equipment next to baby catalogs. One evening, Kate returned home to find Vexalia and Alan in the living room surrounded by building materials. What is all this? Kate asked. We are attempting to construct a crib. Alan explained, his hair disheveled. The instructions are quite confusing. Kate laughed. Here, let me help. She had assembled enough military equipment in her career to make short work of a baby crib. As they worked together, Vexalia watched them, her silver eyes thoughtful. I never imagined my life would take this path, she said. But I find it more fulfilling than the one that was planned for me. The crib, when finished, was unlike any other, larger than a standard human crib with special cushioning for sensitive Ziraxian skin. Alan had incorporated monitoring systems to track the baby vital signs. Vexalia had added traditional Ziraxian symbols of protection woven into the bedding. Beautiful, Vexalia said, touching the carved wooden rails. This is how human families prepare for children. Together. With each passing week, Vexalia's belly grew rounder. The pregnancy, which would last approximately 10 Earth months, was proceeding well. The child development continued to surprise the medical team, sometimes following human patterns. Sometimes Ziraxian Kate took leave from her military duties to remain close to home. She told herself it was for security reasons, but the truth was, she could not bear to be away. She had become as invested in this child as its biological parents. Alan, too, had put his research on hold, focusing entirely on Vexalia and the baby. His initial scientific interest had blossomed into genuine care. He spent hours reading both human and Ziraxian child-rearing texts, preparing with characteristic thoroughness. One night, during the 6th month, Vexalia woke the household with a cry of pain. Kate rushed to her room to find her clutching her abdomen, her tendrils thrashing wildly. Something wrong, she gasped. The child, it's struggling. Alan called Dr. Patel while Kate held Vexalia's hand, feeling helpless as the princess writhed in pain. Emergency. Services arrived quickly. Rushing Vexalia to the hospital, Kate and Alan followed in terrified silence. Dr. Patel met them in the emergency department. The baby immune system is having a conflict reaction, she explained. It partial, Xeraxian adaptability. Gene is activating prematurely, trying to protect it from what it perceives as threat. Can you stop it? Alan asked, his scientific composure cracking. We need to introduce Xeraxian hormonal stabilizers, Dr. Patel said. But we need permission from a royal medical authority. Kate felt cold dread. The only Xeraxian royals on Earth were part of Admiral Zorvan delegation. He had disowned his daughter, had forbidden his medical staff from assisting her. I will get what we need, Kate said grimly. She drove to the Xeraxian embassy compound, her military credentials getting her through the outer security. The guards recognized her as Vexalia companion and regarded her with open hostility. I need to speak with Royal Physician Trex, she told them. It an emergency. The guards exchanged glances. We have orders not to allow any communication regarding the princess. Kate fixed them with a steel gaze. This is not about politics. This is about an innocent life. Your princess child is dying. Without help from your physician, the first Xeraxian human child will be lost. Is that what you want on your conscience? The guards hesitated. Their species had strict protocols, but they also had a cultural reverence for new life, especially royal offspring. One of them touched his communication device, speaking rapidly in Xeraxian. A tense 10 minutes passed before the gates opened, and a tall, thin Xeraxian in medical robes hurried out. Commander Miller, he said. You mentioned an emergency. Kate explained the situation quickly. The physician face remained impassive, but his tendrils showed agitation. I cannot officially help, he said, but he pressed a small crystal vial into her hand. This contains the stabilizer. Tell your doctors to introduce it gradually. The dosage must be precise. Thank you, Kate said. The physician tendrils twisted in a complex pattern, the sign of respect. We may serve different masters. Commander, but we both serve. Life. Kate rushed back to the hospital. The stabilizer worked. The crisis passed. Vexalia regained her strength gradually, the child once again secure. The medical team refined their treatment protocols, adjusting for the new information about hybrid physiology. That night, as Vexalia slept, Kate and Alan sat in the hospital waiting room, exhausted but relieved. I thought we were going to lose them, Alan said, his voice raw. Kate nodded, unable to speak. The fear she had felt had been overwhelming, like nothing she had experienced even in combat. It had made her realize how completely Vexalia and her unborn child had become her family. The news reports the next day mentioned a mysterious midnight diplomatic exchange, that some unknown Xeraxian had defied the Admiral orders to help save the hybrid child. The story further shifted public perception. A week later, as Vexalia recovered at home, a package arrived. It contained a small silver orb carved with ancient Xeraxian symbols. There was no note, but Vexalia recognized it immediately. A royal birth token, she explained, her voice thick with emotion. This is given to all children of the royal bloodline. It is from my father, Assistant Halka. She must have sent it secretly. Does this mean your father? Kate began. No, Vexalia said. It means there are those even in my father court who recognize this child right to exist. That is enough for now. The pregnancy continued. The difficult period had passed, and the baby grew stronger. Its unique biology, stabilizing both human and Xeraxian medical experts, studied the case, documenting everything. For future reference, this child would not be the last of its kind. They all sensed that a door had been opened. The labor began during a thunderstorm. Lightning flashed across the sky as Vexalia's first contraction hit. Kate was awakened by the glow of Vexalia tendrils pulsing with bright light in rhythm with her pain. At times, she said, her voice calm, despite the discomfort. The child comes, Kate called Dr. Patel, while Alan helped Vexalia to the car. The specialized birthing center had been prepared for weeks. A team of human and Xeraxian medical experts ready for this historic moment. The storm intensified As they drove, rain lashing against the windshield, Kate hands tight on the steering wheel. Lightning illuminated Vexalia's face in flashes. Her expression was serene despite the pain, her silver eyes reflecting the electric light. "The universe sings with us tonight," she murmured. "The elements welcome this child." At the birthing center, Dr. Patel took charge, guiding Vexalia to the specially designed delivery room. Kate and Alan followed, staying close on either side of the princess. The labor progressed, faster than expected. Vexalia's Araxian physiology, more efficient than human even in this hybrid pregnancy. Her tendrils glowed brighter with each contraction, casting the room in ethereal blue light. Kate held one of Vexalia's hands, while Alan held the other. The princess' strength was incredible, her grip nearly crushing, yet neither human complained. They were united in this moment, bound by something deeper than biology. Outside the delivery room, reporters gathered. Security kept them at bay, but word had spread. A historic birth was imminent. The first human Xeraxian child was about to enter the world in orbit. The Xeraxian diplomatic vessels maintained their position. Despite Admiral Zorvan's official disavowal of his daughter, sensors detected unusual activity aboard his flagship. The final stage of labor came swiftly. Vexalia's body arched, her tendrils flaring with blinding light. The medical team worked with practiced precision. Despite all their preparations, the moment held breathless uncertainty. With a final powerful contraction, the child emerged. Dr. Patel caught the infant with expert hands. There was a moment of silence, then a cry, part human wail, part Xeraxian harmonic. "It a girl," Dr. Patel announced. The relief and joy in her voice evident. The baby was quickly placed on Vexalia's chest. The infant had blue-tinted skin, lighter than her mother, but unmistakably Xeraxian. A fine dusting of dark hair covered her head, where tiny tendrils were already beginning to move with a life of their own. Her eyes, when they opened, were the most striking feature, silver with visible pupils like stars in the night sky. "She perfect," Vexalia whispered, touching the child face with trembling fingers. "She belongs to both worlds, yet is entirely her own." Alan leaned close, his scientific detachment completely gone, tears streaming down his face. "She beautiful," he said, "simply beautiful." Kate stood slightly back, allowing the parents their moment. But Vexalia reached for her. "Come, Kate, see your niece." The term niece struck Kate with unexpected force. This child was family. Her family. She moved closer, looking down at the tiny face that somehow combined the best features of both species. "Hello, little one," she whispered. The baby eyes seemed to focus on her for a moment, silver stars regarding her with what seemed like ancient wisdom. "What will you name her?" Dr. Patel asked as she completed her examination of the newborn Vexalia, and Alan exchanged a look. They had discussed many possibilities, both human and Xeraxian names. "Hope," Vexalia said finally. "In your language it means expectation and desire for something good. We will call her Hope." The name rippled through the room, simple yet profound. The medical team, the security personnel, even the normally stoic Xeraxian doctors seemed moved. "Hope," Alan repeated, placing his hand gently on the baby head. "Perfect." The news of Hope's birth spread quickly. Media outlets across Earth broadcast the first authorized images of the child. Public reaction was overwhelmingly positive. The baby's unusual beauty captured hearts. The story of her birth became a symbol of possibility in a time when humanity was still adjusting to its place in a larger galactic community. Security around the birthing center was increased. The threat assessment remained high. Extremists on both sides had made their opposition clear. Kate coordinated with both Earth forces and the moderate Xeraxian security detail that had broken with the Admiral to protect the princess and her child. The day after the birth, an unexpected alert came through the security system. A Xeraxian royal shuttle was approaching, requesting permission to land. Kate rushed to Vexalia's room. "My father?" she asked, reading Kate's expression. "Yes," Kate confirmed. "He requesting to see you," and the baby Vexalia was sitting up in bed holding Hope, who slept peacefully, her tiny tendrils occasionally twitching in her sleep. Alan sat nearby, his protective posture mirroring Kate's own. "Let him come," Vexalia said. Are you sure? Kate asked. We can refuse no. Vexalia looked down at her daughter. This moment was always inevitable. I will face him. Security protocols were enacted. The Admiral would be allowed only 2 guards. Both sides would be unarmed. The meeting would take place in Vexalia room with Kate Allen and Dr. Patel. Present Admiral Zorvan arrived with typical Zeraxian formality. His massive frame seemed to fill the doorway, his silver eyes cold and unreadable, his tendrils perfectly still in the royal manner. His gaze swept the room, taking in the humans before finally settling on his daughter and the bundle in her arms. The room was tense. Kate positioned herself between the Admiral and Vexalia bed, her military training making her hyper-aware of every movement. Father Vexalia said, her voice strong despite her physical exhaustion. Meet your granddaughter. Zorvan approached slowly, his guards remaining by the door. Kate did not move from her protective stance, but Allen gently touched her arm, a silent request to allow this moment. The Admiral stood over the bed looking down at the child. His expression remained impassive, but Kate noticed a slight movement in his tendrils, a ripple of emotion, quickly suppressed. He asked, his voice unusually subdued. Vexalia nodded carefully, transferring hope to her father's arms. The contrast was striking. The massive Zeraxian warrior holding the tiny infant with unexpected gentleness. She has the marks of the ancient bloodline, he finally said. The silver stars in her eyes. They have not been seen in our royal line for 10 generations. Vexalia reached out one tendril, touching her father's arm. She is my daughter, father. Her heritage is both our worlds. The Admiral seemed to age before their eyes, the rigid posture softening. I came to take you home to erase this disgrace. And now, Kate asked, her hand still on her sidearm. Now I see the future, he said simply, a future I never imagined. He returned the baby to Vexalia's arms with careful precision. Our people have conquered worlds, fought wars that spanned decades, all for empire, for power. He touched hope. Tiny hand with one massive finger. The child grasped it instinctively. Perhaps there are other paths. The meeting ended shortly after the Admiral left, without further declarations. But the next day a formal announcement came from the Zeraxian delegation. Princess Vexalia and her child were officially recognized as members of the royal family. Their unique status acknowledged, the diplomatic implications were enormous. The hardliners in the Zeraxian Empire were outraged, but others, especially younger Zeraxians, saw it as the beginning of a new era. The human-Zeraxian alliance strengthened as cultural exchanges increased. For Kate Allen and Vexalia, the political ramifications were secondary. They focused on hope. The first weeks of her life were a crash course in hybrid infant care. Her biology presented unique challenges. Her human side needed different nutrients than her Zeraxian side. Her sleep patterns followed neither species norm. Her tendrils grew rapidly, requiring special care. Their household settled into a new rhythm. Allen continued his research, but now from their home, his focus shifted to understanding hope, unique physiology. Kate returned to military duty, but with a special assignment as liaison to the Zeraxian Cultural Exchange Program. It allowed her to remain close to her chosen family. Vexalia adapted to motherhood with grace. Her royal upbringing had not prepared her for the hands-on care of an infant, but she approached it with the same determination she brought to everything. She sang ancient Zeraxian lullabies taught human children songs by Kate. The baby tendrils would glow softly in response sometimes, creating patterns that mirrored the music. 1 month after Hope birth, a package arrived from the Zeraxian royal palace. It contained traditional gifts for a royal child, ceremonial clothes made from rare materials, a data crystal containing the family history, a formal declaration of lineage. A note accompanied the gifts written in the Admiral's own hand. To my daughter and granddaughter it read, "May you forge a path that my generation could not imagine. Remember that true strength lies not in conquest, but in creation." Kate found Vexalia crying as she read the note, Hope cradled in one arm. "He trying," she said, wiping silver tears from her cheeks. For a Xeraxian of his generation, this is extraordinary. That night, as Hope slept in her crib, the three adults sat in the living room. The windows open to the summer breeze. They spoke of the future, of hopes and fears, of plans for their unusual family. I never expected any of this, Alan admitted. Looking at Vexalia with wonder, I came to Earth to study genetic theory. Now I am helping raise a child who rewrites everything we thought we knew. Kate nodded. I was assigned to diplomatic security. A simple job: protect the aliens. Don't start a war. She laughed softly. Now look at us. Vexalia. Tendrils moved in a pattern. Of contentment, I was to be a political token, a royal bride to seal some advantageous alliance. Instead, she looked toward the nursery where Hope slept. Instead, I found freedom, family love,